Welcome to Noir Alley. I'm Eddie Muller. Thanks for stopping by during this weekend's Memorial Day marathon. Now, the history of cinema is strewn with examples of potentially great movies beaten beyond recognition and left abandoned at the bottom half of double bills. And no filmmaker left behind more of these maimed and mangled movies than Orson Welles. The Magnificent Ambersons, It's All True, The Lady from Shanghai, Macbeth, Othello, Mr. Arcaden, all of these were films that Welles abandoned before they could be fully realized. But was he the culprit or the victim? Were jealous and insensitive studio executives out to cut the boy wonder off at the knees, or was Welles a master of self-sabotage as well as a movie-making magician? And consider the case of our movie today, 1943's Journey into Fear. It was the final picture Welles owed RKO under his original deal with the studio. He was still struggling to finish Ambersons as this film went into production, and instead of trying to direct it himself, he turned the reins over to his colleague Norman Foster, summoned back from Mexico, where he was directing a segment of Welles's next project, It's All True. But make no mistake, this is an Orson Welles production. He'd thrown out the original adaptation RKO had commissioned of Eric Ambler's 1940 thriller, written not cheaply by Ben Hecht, and he rewrote the script with his friend and co-star Joseph Cotten. In fact, as RKO got increasingly anxious about Welles's stretching himself too thin, he grew more and more insular, filling the cast and crew of Journey into Fear with trusted colleagues from his Mercury Theater, even giving roles to his manager, secretary, and chauffeur. And the casting of Doris Del Rio was no surprise, given that she and Welles were at the time having a torrid affair. Well, is there any other kind?
Mademoiselle, vous partez ce soir sur le Télésien?
Yes, we are leaving tonight for Batumi.
This man is your husband?
We are partners.
Welles oversaw the production design as well, which brilliantly uses RKO's sound stages to evoke the cramped confines of a mysterious freighter, an ingenious feat of cinema aided in no small measure by the camera work of Carl Struss, whose photographic genius was never again challenged quite like this. But despite all the ingenuity and the work of a terrific cast clearly having a field day with all the underhanded chicanery, Welles left the film prior to its completion, heading off to Brazil to work on his next dream project. He returned to find that RKO had hastily edited the film, butchered it, he claimed, and they previewed it in New York without a Welles-worthy ending. Well, after great arguments and much expense, the studio scrapped all the prints awaiting release and let Welles create a new climax, the fantastic finish that's on the film now. The picture definitely captures the atmosphere and paranoia of Ambler's novel, but at a truncated 68 minutes, coherence is not this movie's strong suit. Now, there's no arguing that Orson Welles was the most innovative filmmaker in American movie history. He was imaginative, incisive, intractable, intimidating, and plenty of other I words, except idle. If he had a fault, it was not being able to stay with one project through to completion before rushing off to the next big challenge. So is he to blame for creating so many misfires, movies that may have expanded the grammar of filmmaking but failed to be as good as they could have been? Well, I contend that Orson Welles should be judged by different standards. In the mangled remains of the films that could have been, he left clues for everyone else on how to make movies more exciting and awe-inspiring. From war-torn 1943 and the combined efforts of producer Orson Welles and director Norman Foster, here's Journey into Fear.